It's cold. Welcome back to the channel. It is 17 degrees here where I'm at. Last night got down to 5 degrees. So I figure it is a beautiful day to give you the discussion on an overview of our winter methods of keeping this place warm, the MANTI greenhouse. The MANTI greenhouse is a year-round, mostly off-grid geothermal greenhouse. And the whole reason I'm doing this is share some ideas about self-sufficiency. And so I'm excited to finally answer some of the questions, especially on Facebook. There's been quite a bit of people wondering what some of the designs are. So today is the winter design, but I wanted to start off with a little bit of the crazy cryptocurrency world. I am not a crypto guy, and so I'm not an expert. So if you want to trash me in the comments, that's fine, I deserve it. But I am in finance and I do follow economics like in a nerd-like manner because I think the whole world is shifting currently into some sort of a reset. I don't know what that means, but it's something we need to consider, right? So anyway, yesterday I get all of these pings on my phone from family and friends that were just, what is going on? And then they sent me some tweets of this emergency meeting that was being announced by the Department of Justice, and they also had the Treasury there for a live announcement. I mean, the hype could not have been any more, and I fell for it too. I was like, oh my gosh, what has some of these airline issues, which have been very strange issues, by the way, have some of those issues created some ransomware where Bitcoin was used, and now we're going to have the heavy hand of government coming in and throwing down regulations. I mean, that's what I was thinking, right? Well, it comes down to it. I thought this headline was the most appropriate. The guy breathing into the bag. That was me, okay? I fell for it. The announcement was very kind of lame. I mean, there was a small crypto player called, God, I can't even, Bizlato. No one's even heard of it. And they were doing bad stuff and they're getting shut down. But I think the reason people like me that aren't crypto nerds and a lot of the crypto world freaked out is because underlying all of this, the crypto impulse has been a phenomenal one because it's a way to transact with other people, with other businesses, with other nations in a way that preserves liberty. And I love that. So even though I'm not a crypto guy, I am a liberty guy. But I've always felt in the back of my mind, if crypto goes against central players, banks, governments, when will those big dogs pull the rug out from under it and game over? So I think part of the impulse of the overreaction was because deep down, isn't that what we all fear? And yesterday, we just happened to have the global elites who they know everything, and they've got together in Davos, and there were some headlines coming out of that saying that immediate regulation is needed for crypto. And let me guess, government will be there to help, right? Sure. Just like they helped when they went off of the gold standard. And the consequence of not having dollars backed with physical stuff is what you see every day. Go buy some eggs, go buy some gas, even though it's maybe relaxed $1. It's called inflation, baby. You know what it's like to go buy food. Well, if you devalue your currency, which you can when you're not on a gold standard, you have ramifications, right? Well, what do you think is going to happen with a reset? Let's go digital. Let's let governments do government Bitcoin. I think that's going to work. They even had Norio Rubini, Dr. Doom, speaking at Davos, saying that 90% of Bitcoin is fraud. So I'm just saying, you better be aware of the headlines because, you know, you can ignore them, but it doesn't matter. They will come and do what they're going to do anyway. And what does a reset look like for you? Well, if you don't like what they reset into, what the currency resets into, you're probably still going to need whatever that currency may or may not be in the future to commerce. So whether you like it or not, it's coming. All right, The daily dose of doom is over. Now let's get into the greenhouse and look at the winter style of what we do here. First of all though, this is Tico. Tiancum, the golden warrior. He's always right in my way. I'm tripping on him, but he makes amazing golden doodles. Yep, he's a good boy. It's kind of funny, my boys convinced me to get a dog. I was worried about it. And they actually all have different ownership shares in Tico for when he breeds. They get different percentages. My kids are weird, like their father. Okay, so we're gonna start off right here. We built this little wigwam, mainly because it looks amazing, thank you, made out of redwood. Underneath there are a series of several pipes. There's 8 pipes here in this wigwam. I don't know what we call them, wigwam. I'm calling it a wigwam. It's a piece of wood that's covering pipes. That's the definition, look it up. On the other side of the greenhouse, there is another wigwam over there, 100 feet, with 8 more pipes, so 16 pipes. All that does is it gives fresh air from outside that goes down 8 feet to warm up. Mother Nature is your friend. You can try to heat if you want, but if you can tap into Mother Nature, booyah, you're gonna save tons of money and be less frustrated, and your plants might live, right? That's what we're finding. I don't know all these answers, but I think we've lucked into some good stuff. So on a day like today, we're like 17 degrees outside, so I'm gonna go inside. The greenhouse is 50 degrees right now. Last night we got down to 5, and I mean, just absolutely brutal. And so, oh, much better. I mean, 50 degrees is not hot, but boy, it feels so much better in here. All right, let's do just a little update. My wife, she went and like harvested, you've heard of tree huggers, you've heard of a broccoli hugger? That's me. She harvested broccoli yesterday, and I mean, look at this, it's everywhere. I'm not a green eater, guys, at all. I love meat. In fact, we're taking our scouts on a scout camp out. We've done it 16 years straight, and the reason everyone loves to come is because we do steak and mushroom. It's the kind of guy I am. But broccoli, it's grown on me. I mean, if we go into more crises, I mean, we're all gonna be green eaters. We're all gonna be rabbits, right? We'll all be eating a lot more green, probably have a lot more babies too, just saying. Too much? Anyway, the greenhouse right now is 50 degrees. And now let's get on to the winter design. Sorry, I have a lot of squirrels in my life. So the pipes from the outside go down under the ground 8 feet, and then they input into the greenhouse. So there's one of 16 pipes right there. Sorry, everything's like backwards. Pipe. Okay, over here by Little Banana that we've never introduced you to, this is Beatty the banana. We have another pipe. So about every 10 feet, oh my God. Everything's backwards. So right now, even though I have the door just open a crack, so I have air coming in, but it's definitely not 17 degree air. So this run is actually only about 50 feet. So it doesn't get tremendously warm, but it gets a lot warmer. So this, even in the wintertime when I'm needing to input air into the greenhouse, I don't want to input 17 degree air while we do some ventilating. So we're letting Mother Nature warm that air up and take the edge off. And I think that that's a good design because these plants need carbon. They need outside air. You can't just, ooh, it's cold, let's throw a big coat on and then suffocate. No, you got to keep the greenhouse aerated for its overall health and, you know, issue more carbon, whatever. So it's definitely important. It's definitely helpful because a lot of the, so like right now it's cloud cover outside. And if the sun comes out though, the 50 degrees that we're experiencing right now will go, I mean, it'll go up to 90, 95, 100, even with it being 17 degrees outside. And so in that scenario, we'd actually be right there, we'd actually be opening that window and possibly the window on the other side. But at that point, there's so much hot air going up and out the fresh air is not coming in that window. It's escaping. And then it's drying from, here, let's go down here by Mr. Lemon Tree. And here's another one of these. So the air will actually be feeding into the greenhouse through those 16 pipes. Again, so we don't have to shock these plants, Mr. Lemon here, with 17-degree air. We get air that's warmer, hopefully 40 plus, as we get rid of that 90, 95, 100 degree air going out. Hope that makes sense. It does to me. Give me comments if I've confused you. It's my fault. Okay, so that's one of the things. Now, the other thing besides these pipes, see, we got more over here. We got more next to this nasty tomato tree. We bought it diseased at Walmart at the end of Walmart season because everything was picked over by mid-July when we finally were able to plant the 1st of July. But anyway, so there's another vent. There's some more over here by the tropics. Another very important part of our design is the fact that we've dropped all of this down 30 inches. So ground level is actually right about this plant level. But we go down, 2 foot with the concrete plus the footer, so about 30 inches down in the ground. That's huge. Again, you're tapping into the Earth's core. You can fight it, or you can try to let it work for you. And I think that that's actually one of the most important things you could do if you're building a similar greenhouse. Tapping down, getting some of that more constant temperature is awesome. The pipes do that too, but just throw it down. I mean, even with the angles, we have very little shade from being down in the ground. I think you could actually go closer to 4 feet, but maybe not too much more than that. Okay, another thing that we've done, we spent a lot of effort and money, I will say, on the outside concrete wall. On the other side of it, we have 2 layers of foam insulation. And so we've done that so that we beat the frost line. We don't have condensation here. I mean, look, we got a pepper growing right next to that wall. So, I mean, that means its roots are not too ornery or too uncomfortable. I mean, here again, we've had a little bit of, well, that one's growing pretty good. These other ones that are a little bit further away might be a little bigger, but we're getting growth with plants that are right next to that. Well, I think it's obviously because we insulated it. We don't have that frost issue coming over because right now the ground's solid. It's iced over, there's snow on it. It's happy, so it's worth the efforts. We insulated as well, though, the back of the greenhouse. So behind the cement wall are 2 layers of foam as well. One layer going all the 100 feet that way, and then another layer going this way. And then I put some plastic Tyvek over it just to stop any airflow from moving in between the cracks and just to button it up, right? And then on the other side of that, I put metal. Looks really good, no one sees it. The main point of the metal there, you could put anything you wanted to, but the main point is so that the foam doesn't get eaten up by McKenna's little lambs that she has, or Becca's milk cow, or my kid's dog, protecting the foam. And it looks good. If you ever come visit, we're gonna go look at the back of the greenhouse. You're gonna tell me it's amazing, okay? Because no one else will, and it costs a fortune. Okay, so one more design. So moving on to another one that's extremely important, and that is just the idea of thermal mass, which is just some fancy way of collecting heat from the sun. So as you look at the greenhouse, we have a 55-degree angle. In the summer, the shade in the greenhouse, the shade line, let's go down here. Can you see the end of the grow wall? The shade goes about, it's a little bit more than halfway is in the sun, but this back, we'll say back third, is in the shade in the summer. That's good. Summer, hot. Too hot, bad. And so because the sun is straight up and down in the summer, we don't heat up this back wall nor the water I'm going to show you. But in the winter time, the sun pattern, I mean, I become a sun watcher. I'm a broccoli hugger and a sun watcher, but I'm not weird. In that winter time, the sun moves way over there and it almost hits the glazing on a straight perpendicular. Because of that, the sun line, you can't tell today because it's cloudy, so everything's light. You can kind of tell, it's right about the crease, but the sun goes all the way up to the top. And what that does is it warms up that whole mass of concrete. And it warms up our 20 barrels over here. And it warms up the 20 barrels over there. There's some other uses of the barrels we'll talk about another time, but those barrels are just heat mass, baby. That's it. 2,000 gallons of water. Water retains that heat. I think it's the #1 retainer, and I think concrete's #2. So we have all that mass that heats up during the day. At night, when we're battling the polycarbonate, which is only like an R3, all that beautiful heat leaving, well, all the BTU stored up fights against that. A greenhouse is seriously nothing but science battling each other out, different scientific principles at war with each other. You have to have sunlight, you have to have the UV, but then you get the trade-off is you get crap insulation, so then you over-insulate, overcompensate massively with tons of insulation efficiencies and tons of thermal mass. And if you get that right, rather it looks like this or it's different, if you can just make those principles come out in your favor, you can have Mother Nature helping you and hopefully have success. I mean, this is why we do it, not for flowers. We only have 2 flowers in here, and I kind of got crap from my wife putting them in there because it was taking grow space. But I feel like we're hardly at a lack for grow space, you know? I mean, even though we have rabbits, it's not like we're going to be able to eat all these carrots, Becca. Holy cow. I guess we're selling carrots. Anyway, that's why we do it. So we've talked about the insulation, the angle that makes you capitalize on a wallopini, the thermal mass. In another video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I would call cold air drops, because we did put those in as well. I want to do that in another video where I'm getting a little long, where I can show you the construction of that and what it does. And I would say some of the things it doesn't do, but it's definitely a good idea. So anyway, let me know if that answers some of the questions. We'll get more in detail. This was mainly just an introduction into the winter design. So I'll nerd out a little bit more. Again, if I can get you guys to please like and subscribe, because right now I definitely feel like I'm talking to myself. I don't even know if my kids are watching. So I do appreciate any support, because I want to share these ideas, hopefully to, you know, kind of wake us all up to being more self-sufficient, but also on things that we can do. This summer we'll share other ideas. You don't have to build a greenhouse to be self-sufficient. I fully believe that. This is one option, but we're going to talk about many things that we can do. So anyway, let me know what you think. Thank you.